In the silent depths of the void where even the heavens rarely cast their gaze, a storm that could shake the cultivation world was about to unfold. A man who had just stepped beyond the limits of mortal cultivation was chasing a legend feared by countless realms, the Blood Ancestor. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. The destruction of the Blood Planet barely stirred a ripple within the Alliance star system. The planet had been so remote, so distant from the central worlds, that no one even realized what had happened until a long time had passed. Wang Lin's original body had already departed along with the Blood Pavilion. As he traveled through the silent expanse of space, his body gradually shrank, the towering form slowly returning to the size of an ordinary cultivator. As for the Blood Pavilion itself, he sealed it away and swallowed it. Within his body, it remained wrapped tightly in layers of his spiritual energy. The Blood Pavilion was exceedingly strange. Because of this, Wang Lin decided that once he found a safe place, he would study it carefully. After discovering a rank 6 cultivation planet, Wang Lin quietly slipped onto it without attracting attention. He descended deep beneath the planet's surface, choosing a secluded location where he concealed himself completely. Meanwhile, the connection between his soul and his avatar became increasingly stable. It was worth mentioning that although his actions during this journey had drawn the attention of several powerful cultivators, none of them connected the events to the ancient gods. After all, the ancient gods had vanished from the world far too long ago. Within the all-heaven star system, a fragment drifted slowly through the void of the Thunder Celestial realm. At this moment, vast clouds that should never have existed here began rapidly condensing toward the fragment. Hidden within them were low, rumbling peals of thunder. Not long after, a bolt of lightning burst from the clouds and struck the fragment. The thunder quickly spread throughout the fragment, racing through its cracked surface until it found Wang Lin, who lay deep within, still unconscious. Without hesitation, the lightning plunged into his body. Wang Lin's body suddenly trembled. Soon after, countless bolts of lightning gathered above and crashed down upon the fragment. The entire fragment shook violently, and large pieces of rock broke loose from the cliffs, tumbling into the endless void below. Far away, the Blood Ancestor stared intently at the fragment. He could clearly sense the half of his blood body that remained there. Even more alarming, the origin energy within it was being absorbed at an astonishing speed. The sensation drove him nearly mad. For the first time in his life, he had tried to kill someone only to inadvertently help that very person grow stronger. Yet he did not dare move. His gaze slowly lifted toward the clouds gathering above the fragment. From within them, he could feel a terrifying power gradually forming, slowly growing stronger with every passing moment. "This is divine retribution," the Blood Ancestor murmured coldly. "I never expected this person's cultivation to actually provoke divine retribution. Back in the demon spirit land, the heaven's might that descended. It must have been caused by him as well." A chilling light flashed through his eyes. The stronger the divine retribution, the better. If I were to rush in now, I would only end up helping him again. I might as well stand here and watch him die beneath heaven's punishment. The Blood Ancestor sneered as he stared at the fragment, hatred burning fiercely within his eyes. The fragment's drifting came to a halt under the immense pressure of the gathering clouds. More and more clouds gathered above it. Another bolt of thunder crashed down. The fragment trembled violently once more, and its edges shattered even further. This continued for an entire month. More and more thunder descended. When the Blood Ancestor looked toward the fragment, he could no longer see the edges of the cloud mass at all. He retreated farther away, unwilling to risk provoking the terrifying might of divine retribution. Within his heart, hatred mingled with a strange delight. "The more the better," he muttered to himself. "Let more clouds gather. Let them kill that Wang Lin. Only then will this old man's hatred finally be dispelled." The clouds continued to grow. Several days later, the clouds no longer hovered merely above the fragment, they completely surrounded it. The fragment vanished from sight. All that remained was a sea of storm clouds. At that moment, it was as if the heavens had finally completed their preparations. Divine retribution descended. Countless bolts of lightning burst from the clouds and crashed down upon the fragment. The thunder did not fall only from above, it came from every direction, from every cloud surrounding the fragment. Deafening thunder roared across the empty void. Under the relentless bombardment, the fragment continued to collapse piece by piece. Lightning surged through the shattered land, racing straight toward Wang Lin's unconscious body. Every time a bolt of lightning entered him, Wang Lin's body trembled violently. Countless bolts poured into him without end. Xu Liguo was utterly terrified. He hid himself deep within the celestial sword, not daring to emerge. Even a single bolt of this heavenly thunder would be enough to kill him instantly. At that moment inside Wang Lin's body, the power left behind by the mysterious old man and the blood ancestor was clashing fiercely, constantly negating one another. Normally, such a process would require an extremely long time, but the endless thunder pouring into Wang Lin's body dramatically accelerated it. The origin energy within him surged wildly. Not only did the thunder of divine retribution fail to harm him, its benefits were beyond imagination. Yet Wang Lin remained unconscious. Had he been awake and able to guide the power himself, the gains would have been even more astonishing. Thunder continued to rain down endlessly upon the fragment. It was as though the fragment had been thrown into a furnace forged by the heavens themselves, refined again and again by celestial lightning. Such a process was almost unheard of in the present cultivation world. Very few materials could withstand the terrifying bombardment of heavenly thunder. If anything could endure it, it would have to be fragments of the thunder celestial realm. This land had once been part of that realm, existing for countless years amid celestial thunder. Though it had collapsed long ago, it still retained the essence of the thunder celestial realm. Under the endless assault of heavenly thunder, the edges of the fragment continued to break apart. Yet the center grew increasingly solid. As lightning surged through it again and again, the fragment was gradually being refined, slowly transforming into something akin to a magical treasure. The power contained within it was unimaginable. After all, its material was no ordinary substance, it was a fragment of the celestial realm itself. If that were all, it would already be extraordinary. But this fragment was not being refined by cultivators. It was being refined by the heavens. Gradually, the blood ancestor realized what was happening. He sucked in a sharp breath of cold air. Greed filled his eyes. There were very few treasures left in this world capable of tempting someone at his level of cultivation. Yet the moment he realized that this fragment was being forged into a magical treasure by pure chance, his heart began pounding violently. Loss and gain are determined by fate, he muttered. This old man has suffered far too many losses this time. But if this fragment is truly refined by the heavens, its power will be completely different. It may even unleash the true power of the celestial realm. A look of excitement flashed across his face. This treasure was meant for me. Thunder continued to fall. But suddenly, every bolt of lightning vanished. A dramatic change occurred within the clouds. Deep within their churning depths, a bolt of black lightning slowly began to form. This bolt of black lightning was the true divine retribution. It rapidly condensed, then shot toward the fragment with terrifying speed. At that very moment, deep within the fragment, Wang Lin opened his eyes. The black thunder carried the crushing might of the heavens as it descended upon the fragment. The moment it struck, a deafening explosion erupted, its echoes rippling across the shattered land. A massive crack tore open across the fragment's surface. Deep within that crack stood Wang Lin, his eyes newly opened. The bolt of thunder shot downward at a terrifying speed, slamming directly into him. Bang! Wang Lin's body trembled violently. The thunder surged into him like a raging storm, sweeping through every inch of his flesh. Yet almost immediately, it was intercepted by the blood power and the force left behind by the mysterious old man. Within Wang Lin's body, the three forces clashed fiercely, using his body as their battlefield. Their collision produced thunderous roars. In the end, the violent confrontation transformed into vast quantities of origin energy that surged around him. His origin soul devoured the energy, greedily growing stronger with astonishing speed. A mysterious light flickered in Wang Lin's eyes. He had awakened. When that bolt of thunder struck him, the last remnants of unconsciousness had completely vanished. "Divine retribution," Wang Lin murmured, drawing in a sharp breath. He still remembered the divine punishment that had descended in the demon spirit land. Now that he faced it once more, his eyes shone with an intense brilliance. The moment he awakened, he immediately sensed the chaos raging inside his body. Without the intervention of divine retribution, his body might have exploded under the conflicting forces long ago. This divine retribution came at the perfect moment. A spark of excitement flashed through Wang Lin's eyes. For the first time in his life, he actually welcomed the arrival of divine punishment. Without hesitation, his right hand pressed against the ground, and he shot upward into the air. Beside him, the celestial sword suddenly cried out in panic. "Master, Master, take me with you. I want to go back inside the bag of holding. This place is terrifying." As Wang Lin ascended, he waved his hand. The celestial sword instantly flew toward him and was stored away within his bag. The celestial mountain was also taken back. The moment Wang Lin burst out from the fragment, the clouds surrounding it began to churn violently. Under this terrifying turbulence, a divine retribution even more ferocious than the one in the demon spirit land began to manifest. Beneath the crushing might of the heavens, Wang Lin felt as though a colossal hand were pressing down upon him from the sky itself. Crackling sounds erupted from inside his body. At the same time, 4 bolts of black thunder gathered simultaneously from above, below left, and right of the fragment and shot toward him. Wang Lin's eyes shone brightly. He spread his arms wide and made no attempt to dodge. The thunder from above struck him first. Moments later, the lightning from the left and right closed in, crashing into him as well. Finally, the thunder rising from beneath the fragment pierced straight through the landmass and slammed into his body. 4 torrents of black lightning surged wildly through Wang Lin's body. Once again, they collided violently with the blood body and the mysterious old man's power. This collision was far more intense than before. It was as though a catastrophic storm had erupted within Wang Lin's body. The 3 powers clashed relentlessly, releasing enormous amounts of origin energy. The sheer force of that energy was overwhelming. Under the impact, Wang Lin could not help but release a thunderous roar. His aura surged wildly upward. As his origin soul devoured the massive amounts of origin energy, it completed a crucial transformation, the breakthrough from the peak of the late stage of Ascendant into the illusory, Yin stage. What exactly was an origin soul? If a cultivator had not yet reached the illusory Yin stage, then the so-called origin soul was merely a false shell. A true origin soul possessed the ability to devour origin energy and be reborn from it. The ancient cultivators had once cultivated Qi. That Qi was origin energy. After countless years of refinement, that origin energy would eventually condense into the origin soul. Modern cultivators had taken a step backward from that path. Only after reaching the second step of cultivation could today's cultivators begin to catch up to the ancient ones. At this moment, immense origin energy surged into Wang Lin's origin soul. His origin soul began to undergo a violent transformation. It was stepping toward an entirely new level, the peak of the late ascendant stage, broken through. At the moment of breakthrough, Wang Lin seemed to glimpse his own Tao. Everything in the world suddenly appeared crystal clear. A burst of laughter erupted from his mouth. The laughter pierced through the storm clouds and spread across the vast void. Far away, the blood ancestor watched the churning clouds, waiting eagerly for Wang Lin to be destroyed by divine retribution. But when that laughter reached his ears, his expression immediately changed. Illusory Yin. His face darkened. It seems that half of my blood body contained enough origin energy to allow him to resist divine retribution temporarily and break into the illusory Yin stage. He paused. But even so, before he could finish speaking, his expression changed again. His gaze locked onto the clouds before him. It's still climbing. Wang Lin had never felt such comfort before. The celestial spiritual energy within his body was rapidly dissipating, replaced by the origin energy pouring out from his origin soul. The clouds around him seemed to grow furious. The might of heaven condensed into thunder once more. Within the clouds, 8 bolts of black lightning formed simultaneously and crashed down toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin laughed wildly. His origin soul burst out from his body. It was no longer in human form. Instead, it had transformed into the shape of an ancient thunder dragon. As the 8 bolts of black thunder descended, the ancient thunder dragon opened its jaws and devoured them one after another. 8 bolts of divine thunder were swallowed in succession. Then the thunder dragon returned to Wang Lin's body and released them once more. The blood body and the mysterious old man's power exploded violently again. In return, even more origin energy was produced. Under the impact of this vast origin energy, Wang Lin's cultivation surged upward again. His illusory yin cultivation stabilized and began pushing toward the peak of the illusory yin stage. The illusory yin and corporeal yang stages formed the transition between the first and second steps of cultivation. They represented the perfect balance between yin and yang. The illusory yin stage marked the transformation of the origin soul. The corporeal yang stage represented the complete dissipation of celestial spiritual energy, replaced entirely by origin energy. This process was known as origin transformation. Through it, a cultivator gradually evolved into a being resembling the ancient cultivators. After the collapse of the celestial realm and the disappearance of the ancient cultivators, very few people had ever managed to break through 2 realms consecutively while entering the yin-yang stage. Yet those who had accomplished such a feat later achieved astonishing heights, standing at the very peak of the second step of cultivation. Even the All-Seer had spent 300 years to pass through these 2 stages. Ling Tianhe had required 800 years. The Blood Ancestor himself had spent nearly 1,000 years. This had little to do with talent. The greatest obstacle was origin energy. And at this very moment, Wang Lin was advancing toward that path. Divine retribution served as nourishment. The blood body and the mysterious old man's power provided the origin energy that fueled the transformation. The Blood Ancestor stared at the storm clouds before him. The killing intent within his eyes grew even colder. I came here to kill him, but instead I gave him an enormous fortune. I will not accept this. High above the fragment within the raging storm clouds, Wang Lin raised his head. His eyes were clear, yet within them flickered a trace of anticipation. Thunder roared endlessly within the clouds. Then, a 7-colored bolt of lightning began rapidly condensing within the storm. For the first time in his life, Wang Lin had never hoped so strongly for divine retribution to descend as he did today. He raised his head and gazed at the 7-colored thunder, slowly condensing within the clouds. Among all the divine punishments he had ever encountered, this was the first time he had seen a 7-colored bolt of lightning. 7-colored clouds rapidly gathered together, each layer brimming with the terrifying might of the heavens. Beneath that overwhelming pressure, crackling sounds echoed from the fragment beneath Wang Lin's feet. The edges of the fragment collapsed once more. Its size was rapidly shrinking, yet the smaller it became, the more terrifying its durability grew. Wang Lin's eyes shone with dazzling light as vast streams of origin energy surged through his body. His heart pounded violently. The tremor of his origin soul accelerated the flow of origin energy within him even further. A powerful sensation rose within Wang Lin's heart, one he had never fully grasped before. He slowly raised his right hand and clenched it into a fist. At that moment, he was finally experiencing the feeling of standing above the world, coldly looking down upon everything after seizing control of the power of heaven and earth. He could clearly sense it. His cultivation had broken through the limits of the first step of cultivation. He had shattered the peak of the late ascendant stage and stepped into the illusory yin stage. Divine retribution, be more ruthless. Wang Lin looked toward the sky, his expression fierce. At that very moment, the 7-colored thunderbolt rapidly condensed, releasing a dazzling ray of multicolored light. A strange haunting sound echoed from within it before the lightning suddenly descended. That sound resembled a demonic whisper capable of shaking one's heart. Countless familiar figures seemed to appear around Wang Lin, phantoms born from memory and illusion. Yet Wang Lin's gaze remained calm. The seven-colored thunder roared as it fell. Like a force determined to annihilate everything in its path, it descended wildly from the heavens toward Wang Lin. In the blink of an eye, the lightning struck his body. A world-shaking roar exploded across the fragment, drowning out all other sounds. The moment the thunder entered his body, Wang Lin was smashed straight into the ground. His body was driven deep beneath the surface. Inside him, the blood body and the mysterious old man's power rapidly began to disintegrate as they clashed violently with the divine punishment. Again, Wang Lin shot upward into the air once more. Lightning coursed through his entire body, and his long hair whipped wildly despite the absence of wind. At that moment, Wang Lin resembled a celestial demon born from thunder. The might of heaven could not be resisted. The clouds surrounding the fragment seemed to grow enraged. They churned violently, and seven-colored lightning bolts began raining down upon Wang Lin like a storm. Even the fragment itself was swallowed by this thunderstorm. The endless roar of thunder became the only sound remaining in the world. It was as if Wang Lin had fallen into a hell of lightning, surrounded by seven-colored thunder in every direction. The fragment shattered further and further until only about 10,000 feet of land remained. Wang Lin stood within it as if trapped inside a furnace forged by the heavens themselves. Bolts of lightning continued to crash down upon him without end. Cracks began appearing across Wang Lin's body. They spread rapidly across his skin. At the same time, the blood ancestor's blood body inside him completely collapsed. An immeasurable amount of origin energy surged out and poured into Wang Lin's origin soul. That overwhelming sensation returned. Wang Lin could clearly feel his cultivation beginning to rise again. From a stabilized illusory yin stage toward the peak of the illusory yin stage, and it was still climbing. It was becoming infinitely close to the corporeal yang stage, still a little short. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with sharp light. The blood ancestor's blood body had already completely collapsed, leaving nothing behind. However, the energy of the mysterious old man still remained. Wang Lin faintly sensed that if this power were not eliminated, it might eventually cause serious consequences within his body. Determination flashed through his eyes. His path of cultivation had always been filled with danger. Fortune could only be seized through risk. At this moment, there was only one path forward. Without hesitation, Wang Lin shot upward like an arrow charging straight toward the clouds. For the first time in his life, Wang Lin counterattacked divine retribution. No longer did he passively endure the punishment of heaven. He attacked it. He rushed straight into the clouds, spread his arms wide, and inhaled fiercely. At that moment, a furious roar erupted from the clouds, one that sounded eerily similar to the roar of a beast. Instantly, all the clouds gathered together, and every bolt of lightning within them surged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin laughed wildly. His origin soul spread out and enveloped his body, absorbing the thunder. The remaining power of the mysterious old man surged through his origin soul, and under the relentless bombardment of lightning, it released massive quantities of origin energy. This was an opportunity, the greatest opportunity Wang Lin had encountered since he began cultivating, aside from the chance to glimpse the third step of cultivation. His cultivation rose endlessly as he devoured the clouds. At this moment, Wang Lin forgot about everything: the clouds, the lightning, even the mysterious power within him. He opened his mouth and swallowed the clouds in great gulps. Gradually, the clouds began to shrink. They grew thinner and thinner, until finally, even the blood ancestor could clearly see Wang Lin. The blood ancestor inhaled sharply. His eyes widened in disbelief. Watching Wang Lin devour the clouds themselves, he could hardly believe what he was seeing. Madman! This Wang Lin is a madman. No one would dare take the initiative to confront divine retribution. I cannot allow him to continue. A flash of light burst from the blood ancestor's eyes as he immediately rushed forward. After suffering so much loss, his cultivation had dropped to the peak of the corporeal Yang stage, only one step away from the Nirvana Scrya stage. But he was confident, more than confident. It was still more than enough to kill Wang Lin. His body transformed into a streak of blood-red shadow that shot straight toward Wang Lin within the clouds. Inside the clouds, Wang Lin suddenly sensed danger approaching. His eyes turned cold. Through the thinning storm clouds, he immediately saw the blood shadow rushing toward him. Blood Ancestor. Wang Lin sneered as he retreated deeper into the clouds. Outside the storm, the Blood Ancestor's expression darkened. Gritting his teeth, he charged in. The moment he entered the clouds, the overwhelming might of heaven pressed down upon him. Unlike Wang Lin, he did not possess an ancient Thunder Dragon origin soul. His cultivation had already weakened significantly. Facing divine retribution now filled him with a deep sense of dread. But nothing could suppress the killing intent burning in his heart. With a cold snort, he pressed forward. Moments later, he saw Wang Lin within the clouds being struck repeatedly by countless bolts of lightning. For an instant, it felt like an illusion, because what he saw was not a person. It was a thunder dragon. As Wang Lin stared at the approaching Blood Ancestor, he lifted his hand and chopped downward. The heavenly chop erupted instantly. The Blood Ancestor formed a seal with his right hand, summoning a blood shadow that collided with the heavenly chop. But the blood shadow collapsed immediately. The Blood Ancestor frowned and sighed. If his cultivation had not fallen, the blood shadow would never have shattered so easily. He was about to cast another spell, but Wang Lin had already retreated into the clouds once more. Without hesitation, Wang Lin unleashed heavenly chops again and again, spending origin energy without restraint. At this moment, the amount of origin energy within his body was overwhelming. The heavenly chops became blades of law that slashed through the clouds toward the Blood Ancestor. The Blood Ancestor snorted coldly and formed another seal. A burst of bloodlight flashed. Runes appeared and collapsed instantly, forcing all the surrounding clouds to retreat 10 feet away. Wang Lin's eyes remained calm. Hidden within the clouds, he rapidly retreated, while devouring more thunder and swallowing more clouds. The mysterious old man's remaining power was rapidly dissipating. The Blood Ancestor locked onto Wang Lin and pursued him relentlessly. 2 spheres of blood formed within his hands as he rushed forward. He wanted to end the battle as quickly as possible. Within these clouds, he felt an ominous sense of danger. The longer this continued, the more likely something unexpected would happen. Outside the divine retribution clouds, killing Wang Lin would have been easy. But inside this storm, it became extremely difficult. Wang Lin's thunder origin soul was like a fish swimming freely through water. The mysterious old man's energy neutralized the thunder entering his body. And above all else, the overwhelming origin energy inside him fueled everything. Within these clouds, Wang Lin could move as he pleased. While the Blood Ancestor pursued him, Wang Lin continued weaving through the storm, devouring thunder and swallowing clouds. Gradually, the clouds grew smaller. Then, Wang Lin's body suddenly trembled. The mysterious old man's energy had finally completely dissipated. There was no longer any chaotic power within him. Only origin energy remained. Under the impact of that immense power, Wang Lin's cultivation surged upward once again. In an instant, he shattered the peak of the Illusory Yin stage. He stepped directly into the Corporeal Yang stage. And it did not stop there. As his origin soul absorbed the endless origin energy, and the final traces of celestial spiritual energy vanished from his body, his cultivation surged again, from just entering the Corporeal Yang stage to fully stabilizing within it. The transformation in Wang Lin caused the Blood Ancestor's expression to change drastically. A chill ran down his spine. I cannot let him continue. If this goes on, he might even reach the early stage of Nirvana Scrya. His eyes turned bloodshot. During the time he had watched divine retribution earlier, he had already restructured his body and regained flesh. At this moment, an even more powerful sensation filled Wang Lin. His eyes burned like torches. He felt as though he now held the world itself within his grasp. As the blood ancestor closed in, Wang Lin took a deep breath. Then he pressed his finger against his forehead. His origin soul burst out. His physical body fell from the clouds guided by a spell. After landing, it immediately sat down cross-legged and began cultivating. Meanwhile, Wang Lin's origin soul transformed into an ancient thunder dragon, more than 1,000 feet long. Within the divine retribution clouds, the sight was utterly shocking. The thunder dragon stared down at the blood ancestor. Its voice echoed like thunder. "Blood ancestor, since you delivered yourself to me, you might as well grant my wish." The ancient thunder dragon, born from the very essence of lightning, flickered within the divine retribution clouds. Its presence pulsed with violent arcs of electricity, and its thoughts reverberated across the heavens like rolling thunder. The blood ancestor's eyes widened suddenly. The moment Wang Lin's origin soul moved, all the clouds began to whistle and churn violently as the overwhelming might of divine retribution spread outward. Moments later, Wang Lin's ancient thunder dragon origin soul burst out from the clouds, followed by countless bolts of lightning that trailed behind it like a furious storm. "You're courting death," the blood ancestor said coldly as he retreated rapidly. With a flick of his wrist, he threw the 2 balls of blood in his hand and shouted, "Blood explosion." With a thunderous bang, the blood spheres detonated. A powerful wave of force erupted outward, instantly causing Wang Lin's thunder dragon origin soul to scatter and dissipate. Yet the blood ancestor did not relax in the slightest. Instead, his expression grew even more cautious. At the spot where Wang Lin's origin soul had dispersed, countless bolts of lightning suddenly formed. They rained down toward the blood ancestor from every direction like a storm of heavenly punishment. "You wish to seize my blood body? You overestimate yourself." The blood ancestor sneered. Forming a seal with his hands, he summoned a radiant crimson barrier that enveloped his body. The rain of thunder did not strike it directly, but began circling around it instead. The blood ancestor's heart suddenly trembled. Something was wrong. But by the time he realized it, it was already too late. The divine retribution thunder that had been pursuing Wang Lin suddenly shifted its target and descended madly toward the blood ancestor. Wang Lin. The blood ancestor ground his teeth as the blood barrier flashed violently, forcing Wang Lin's origin soul backward. Yet during that brief moment, countless bolts of divine thunder pierced through Wang Lin's scattered origin soul and struck directly into the blood ancestor's body. He retreated rapidly, attempting to escape the divine retribution clouds. At that moment, Wang Lin's divine sense echoed through the storm. "Senior blood ancestor, your blood planet has already been destroyed. Even your concubine Zixin died after betraying you." The blood ancestor's face darkened instantly. "And your blood pavilion, quite an interesting treasure." Wang Lin's voice seemed to come from every direction within the void. "You came here to kill me, but I wonder if you realize that when your daughter Yao Shixue returns to the blood planet, she will be like a lamb walking straight into the jaws of a tiger." Ever since Wang Lin awakened and first saw the blood ancestor, he had not seen even a trace of Yao Shixue. It would have been impossible for her to survive the collapse of the storage space on her own. Thus, Wang Lin deduced that the most likely explanation was that the blood ancestor had already revived her. Those words struck the blood ancestor like an invisible bolt of divine retribution. His origin soul had already been damaged earlier. Under his unstable state of mind, the shock hit him even harder. Yao Shixue, she was his weakness. Wang Lin. The blood ancestor's mind trembled violently. The crimson light surrounding his body flickered unsteadily. At that moment, laughter echoed through the clouds. The void where Wang Lin's origin soul had been suddenly transformed into countless bolts of lightning. They surged toward the blood ancestor from every direction, piercing through the blood-colored light and flooding directly into his body. At the same time, divine retribution descended in a furious torrent. Even 7-colored lightning bolts were mixed within the storm. The blood ancestor's origin soul roared madly, attempting to break free. But Wang Lin's origin soul had already invaded his body. A battle of life and death had begun. The Blood Ancestor's body became the battlefield. Originally, the Blood Ancestor's origin soul was far stronger than Wang Lin's, but half of it had already been taken by the mysterious old man. Then he encountered Wang Lin again and suffered severe injuries. Even so, his origin soul was still stronger than Wang Lin's. Yet Wang Lin's origin soul was overflowing with origin energy, and he had just stepped into the corporeal yang stage. Most importantly, Wang Lin had no intention of seizing the Blood Ancestor's body. He only sought to entangle him, to prevent him from escaping the clouds. That alone was enough to force the battle into a stalemate. The Blood Ancestor had to die. If he lived, then Wang Lin would be the one who died. Wang Lin understood this perfectly. That was why he was willing to keep the Blood Ancestor trapped inside the clouds at any cost, to kill him using the power of divine retribution. But the storm was beginning to weaken. The divine retribution clouds were gradually dissipating. Even so, every bolt of thunder that struck the Blood Ancestor made his body tremble violently. Half of the lightning's destructive power damaged him. The other half was absorbed by Wang Lin. The thunder continued roaring as the clouds rapidly dispersed. Then, a terrifying power began forming within the thinning clouds. The final bolt of lightning condensed. As it formed, it drew in every remaining cloud. Then it descended. With a deafening boom, this was the final wrath of the heavens, and it carried the intent to kill. The Blood Ancestor was instantly overwhelmed by a terrifying sense of mortal danger. Entangled by Wang Lin's origin soul, he could not escape. His eyes flashed ruthlessly. He bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood. Blood seal. The blood instantly formed a massive seal that spread across his body like a net. The moment it covered him, a flash of crimson light burst from between his brows. His origin soul escaped his body and instantly appeared outside the clouds. Wang Lin, I abandon this blood body. You will not escape the seal, so face divine retribution yourself. Filled with unimaginable hatred, the Blood Ancestor fled without looking back. This time he had been reduced to a miserable state. More than half of his origin soul had been lost. His body had been abandoned. If he did not escape now, and if Wang Lin survived, the consequences would be unimaginable. At that moment, regret surged through his heart. If he had accepted Wang Lin's earlier proposal, Yao Shixue might have been saved, and he would not have fallen into such a pitiful state. But now, it was far too late. Wang Lin's origin soul was trapped within the Blood Ancestor's abandoned body by the blood seal, but he had never intended to escape. His origin soul surged violently as the final bolt of divine retribution descended. Thunder shook the heavens. The blood seal shattered. The Blood Ancestor's body exploded into fragments. Wang Lin's origin soul was forced outward. It transformed once more into an ancient thunder dragon and roared toward the sky. Moments later, the clouds completely dispersed. Divine retribution vanished. Wang Lin's origin soul returned to the fragment, carrying the Blood Ancestor's body. The fragment had now shrunk to only about 1,000 feet. It no longer resembled a fragment of land. Instead, it looked like a massive celestial seal. When Wang Lin's origin soul returned to his body, his eyes opened. A powerful aura surged outward. He inhaled deeply and stored away the Blood Ancestor's body. Then he looked down at the massive seal beneath him. His eyes gleamed. With a single palm strike, he slammed his hand onto the ground. The fragment trembled violently. Then it rapidly shrank until it became no larger than a grain of sand. Wang Lin swallowed it in a single motion. Laughing loudly, he soared into the void. At this moment, Wang Lin had already reached the corporeal yang stage. Although he had not yet reached the peak, he was not far from it. His body was filled with immense origin energy, most of which had not yet been fully absorbed. Once he completely refined it, he would immediately reach the peak of the corporeal yang stage. He would stand infinitely closer to becoming a true second-step cultivator. Within the Thunder Celestial realm, aside from a handful of individuals, no one else would be able to contend with him. With his current cultivation combined with his spells and treasures, the Celestial Realm Fragment and the Beast Tones, Even if he encountered someone who had just stepped into the second step, he would at least be qualified to fight. The pressure that had weighed on him ever since fleeing the Alliance star system had completely vanished. Wang Lin's divine sense spread outward as he chased after the fleeing blood ancestor. Cut the roots to prevent future trouble. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. His corporeal yang cultivation erupted. His speed increased several times over. He streaked across the void like a blazing meteor. A powerful confidence filled Wang Lin's heart. This confidence did not come merely from cultivation. It came from someone who walked the path of a heaven-defying cultivator. So even powerful cultivators like the Blood Ancestor, the All-Seer and Ling Tianhou are not invincible. A faint sneer appeared on Wang Lin's face. Even the All-Seer could never have imagined that his disciple from a half-abandoned planet would force the Blood Ancestor into such a miserable state through a series of opportunities. Yet Wang Lin's eyes suddenly narrowed. Someone may have been helping me. Otherwise, the Blood Ancestor would not have been so weak when I encountered him. This doubt remained deep within his heart. Meanwhile, on another fragment ahead of Wang Lin, Li Yuan was fleeing desperately. His face was pale. His right arm was gone, blood dripping from the severed wound. His body was covered with sword injuries. The most horrifying wound was across his abdomen. Even his origin soul had been wounded and was showing signs of collapse. If not for the secret techniques of his family, he would already be dead. A heavy aura of death surrounded him. Li Yuan revealed a bitter smile filled with unwillingness. He wanted to fight back, but the enemy possessed an ancient mirror capable of breaking restrictions. Moreover, he had earlier helped Wang Lin and used his heart restriction, which had not yet recovered. Unless he could create distance, he had no way to hide himself. Only families that inherited legacies from the celestial realm possess mirrors capable of breaking restrictions. If my Li family were still powerful, these people would be nothing but clowns. But now, he sighed deeply. Brother Shu, I will not be able to fulfill my promise of giving you the restriction heart. This was never my wish. Behind him, 3 cultivators chased him leisurely. 2 men and 1 woman. The woman was extremely beautiful, her eyes filled with seductive charm. In her hand, she held one of the celestial swords that Li Yuan had obtained from the celestial storage space. Cousin, she said with a smile, this man really has quite a few treasures, and they're all powerful. I quite like this celestial sword. The 2 men behind her consisted of 1 young man and 1 elderly cultivator. The young man smiled gently as he looked at her. This person still has 8 more swords. If junior sister Xia likes them, once I take them and find out where he obtained them, I will give them all to you. His cultivation was also at the peak of the late ascendant stage. But the elderly man beside him, his aura was far more terrifying. If Wang Lin were present, he would immediately recognize it. This old man's cultivation was at the peak of the illusory yin stage. In the endless void, Wang Lin's speed increased more and more as he gradually grew familiar with his corporeal yang cultivation. The origin energy within his body was dense and turbulent. As it circulated through his meridians, a faint discomfort arose. Each step he took carried a surge of origin energy, making it feel as though he were tearing through space itself. This sensation was completely different from before. At this moment, Wang Lin felt slightly uncoordinated, and his body trembled faintly. He even began to vaguely sense that he had become one with the world itself. It felt as though anything he willed could be accomplished. This strange sensation grew stronger and stronger. Soon an impulse began to stir within his heart. As the feeling intensified, Wang Lin gazed into the endless void and felt as though he were truly about to merge with the world. It was as if the empty expanse of space itself had become his body. Yet the feeling seemed absurd. Wang Lin's calm and rational mind told him it was impossible. But the sensations coming from his body and origin soul felt astonishingly real. A glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. After pondering silently for a moment, Wang Lin abandoned his rational doubts. Closing his eyes, he followed the instinctive feeling within his origin soul and took a step forward. The moment his foot fell, the void trembled. It was as though space itself were a boundless pool of water, and Wang Lin's step had sent ripples spreading endlessly across its surface. At the same time, the origin energy within Wang Lin began to circulate rapidly. It diffused outward from his body and fused with the surrounding world, forming a mysterious and subtle connection. And in that instant, Wang Lin vanished. In the nascent soul stage, cultivators possessed instant movement. At the ascendant stage, they surpassed teleportation with greater teleportation techniques. Some powerful cultivators could even perform countless greater teleportations in a single instant. Yet this spell was even faster. This technique was called spatial bending. It was a spell that ancient cultivators could only use after forming their origin soul. In the present cultivation world, only cultivators who had reached the Nirvana Scrya stage could utilize this origin spell. And even among second-step cultivators, not everyone could comprehend it. This had nothing to do with talent. It depended entirely on one's understanding of origin energy. Far away, the Blood Ancestor was fleeing rapidly through the void, having already traveled countless kilometers from where Wang Lin had vanished. His cultivation had fallen to the corporeal yang stage, preventing him from using many of his powerful spells. Moreover, his origin soul had been severely damaged. This left him far weaker than before. Wang Lin, once I recover, I swear I will kill you, the Blood Ancestor growled. His body streaked through the void like a crimson shadow. After fleeing for a long time, he finally relaxed slightly. That brat Wang Lin should no longer be able to catch up. I must find a place to recover as soon as possible and restore my cultivation to the Nirvana Scrya stage using my secret methods. After pondering briefly, the Blood Ancestor made up his mind. But at that very moment, his expression changed drastically. Without hesitation, he began fleeing once more. Behind him, a ripple suddenly appeared within the void. And from within that ripple, Wang Lin stepped out. When Wang Lin's right foot touched the void, his eyes slowly opened. In the distance, the Blood Ancestor was nearly losing his mind in shock. Spatial bending. This person hasn't even reached the Nirvana Scrya stage yet. How can he use a spell that only second-step cultivators can wield? The Blood Ancestor fled desperately, bitterness filling his heart. It is said that those who cross the yin-yang stage in one leap often stand at the very peak of the second step. Could that legend actually be true? The Blood Ancestor was deeply shaken. Even before his cultivation had fallen, he had only barely touched the edge of this spell, a technique that could not be learned, only comprehended. As far as he knew, not even Ling Tianhu had fully grasped it. For cultivators of their level, spatial bending was something infinitely close to a third-step spell. For the first time, the Blood Ancestor felt fear toward Wang Lin. This fear came not from rumors, but from what he had personally witnessed. He had watched Wang Lin transform from a peak, late-stage ascendant cultivator into what he was now. This brat must simply be lucky. Yes, he must have gotten lucky to use spatial bending. Yet even as he tried to convince himself, the bitterness in his heart only deepened. Without looking back, he fled even faster. When Wang Lin opened his eyes, they were filled with clarity. Yet he himself was slightly confused about what had just occurred. To him it felt as though he had simply lifted his foot, and then set it down again. But during that brief moment, it seemed as though he had stepped into the river of time itself, watching everything flow past him. And when his foot landed, he had already arrived here. Standing before him was the very person he had been chasing, the Blood Ancestor. My divine sense wasn't even locked onto him. I only had the intention to kill him. Yet somehow I crossed an immeasurable distance and appeared here. Wang Lin did not immediately pursue the fleeing Blood Ancestor. Instead, he stood silently in contemplation. Compared to chasing the Blood Ancestor, comprehending this phenomenon was far more valuable. Time seemed to pass slowly, yet also incredibly quickly. After half an incense stick's time passed, enlightenment flickered within Wang Lin's eyes. He looked down at the void, lifted his right foot, and stepped forward once more. Ripples spread again. But his body did not disappear. The sensation of merging with the world failed to appear. Wang Lin frowned slightly. Glancing toward the direction where the Blood Ancestor had fled, he began chasing him again. Pursuing the Blood Ancestor was only part of his purpose. More importantly, he wished to rediscover that mysterious sensation of fusing with the world. As he recalled the earlier moment, Wang Lin's heart suddenly skipped a beat. If I could truly master that spell, wouldn't that mean I could become invisible and formless? A strange light appeared in his eyes as he surged forward. Time passed. His speed grew faster and faster until he resembled a streak of light flashing through the void. Soon, that strange sensation of merging with the world returned once again. Wang Lin suppressed his excitement and attempted to comprehend it. But the feeling was ethereal and elusive, impossible to grasp completely. When the sensation began fading, Wang Lin sighed softly. The image of the Blood Ancestor appeared in his mind. With a single step, he vanished once more. As the Blood Ancestor fled, a deep unease began growing in his heart. This feeling had not even been this strong when he faced the Yao family ancestor. Just then, his expression changed drastically. Without hesitation, he retreated rapidly. But at that very moment, the shadow of a whip lashed out from the void, striking mercilessly toward him. The Blood Ancestor quickly formed a seal with both hands. A ray of bloodlight collided with the whip before he retreated again. Ripples appeared behind the whip, and from within them, Wang Lin stepped out. The Blood Ancestor's heart trembled violently. The scene before him completely shattered his understanding of cultivation. After witnessing Wang Lin use spatial bending twice in succession, he could no longer convince himself that it had been mere luck. The moment Wang Lin appeared, he immediately charged forward. Raising a finger toward the sky, a vast underworld river suddenly manifested. Countless sharp and resentful wails echoed throughout the void. Yet this underworld river was completely different from before. Now it was filled with dense origin energy. As Wang Lin grew stronger, even his spells had fundamentally transformed. Wang Lin stared coldly at the Blood Ancestor. Then he spoke softly. Origin energy underworld river. Instantly, the underworld river trembled. It expanded endlessly, as though it were about to replace the entire world itself. Everything was engulfed within it, including Wang Lin and the Blood Ancestor. Boundless origin energy filled the space. Countless resentful souls gathered together before charging toward the Blood Ancestor from all directions. The Blood Ancestor's expression grew extremely grim. At this moment, he existed only as an origin soul, making him far weaker than before. This underworld river weakened him even further. But the Blood Ancestor was still the Blood Ancestor. Even now, killing him would not be easy. Within the encroaching river, a fierce glint flashed across his face. Forming seals with both hands, his body erupted with dazzling crimson light. A terrifying pressure spread outward. Blood transformation. His origin soul twisted and transformed. In an instant, it became a pair of gigantic blood claws that tore toward Wang Lin. With a single swipe, 5 massive cracks tore through space like roaring dragons. The moment they closed in, Wang Lin raised his right hand. Origin energy surged through his body. He struck the cracks with a palm. An explosion erupted. Wang Lin retreated from the underworld river and shouted, "Underworld river, soul condense." Countless resentful spirits condensed together. Origin energy filled them, making them even more ferocious. Then, every single one of them took the form of Yao Xianxia. They surged toward the Blood Ancestor from every direction. The Blood Ancestor let out a cry. Turning abruptly, he slashed behind him as though attempting to tear the underworld river apart. As for the souls resembling Yao Xianxia, even though he knew they were illusions, he could not bring himself to strike them. Using the immense power of the blood claws, he finally tore open a gap in the underworld river and rushed toward it. Yet countless Yao Xianxias blocked his path. The Blood Ancestor cried out sorrowfully. His face hardened with ruthless resolve. With a swipe of his blood claws, countless Yao Xianxias shattered, but their sorrowful cries sounded painfully real. The voices echoed in the Blood Ancestor's ears. His already injured mind trembled violently. Under his relentless assault, The underworld river began collapsing. The gap widened. Finally, the blood ancestor burst free. Hatred beyond words burned in his eyes. Wang Lin, you and I cannot exist under the same heavens. Though he appeared fierce, exhaustion filled his heart. The sorrowful cries of Yao Shui echoed endlessly in his mind. Just as he escaped, Wang Lin appeared before him. In his hand was the soul flag. Black clouds poured out from the flag and instantly surrounded the blood ancestor. The Karma whip lashed repeatedly within the clouds. The cracking sounds of each strike echoed endlessly. Wang Lin shouted coldly, "Gather!" The black clouds rapidly contracted. But even now, the blood ancestor continued resisting within them, because even in this desperate state, he was still the proud blood ancestor.